long has this been? Oof. Hello, my name is Nick, and welcome back to the End Zone. I'd like to do a little bit of a cinema takeaway for you. It's a new approach I want to take to my film reviews is actually, rather than critiquing, I'd rather just talk about what you can take away from an experience seeing a new film. Every new film presents new chances to grow and new chances to understand where art is right now in the world and where it can go. In this context, I'm referring to film, though. Tonight, my cinema takeaway will be on my experience watching Ralph Breaks the Internet. Without further ado, let's get started. Ralph Breaks the Internet. It was a very unorthodox film, but in a good way. A very good way. This film was literally and figuratively an evolved form of its prequel. This film, in every sense, is outside the box.
Original.
It is extremely original, while playing off of a ton of internet cliches and elements of our everyday lives that we love, memes, music, streaming,
Dark web.
all these things. And I don't want to, give away, obviously, all the elements in a sense that are in the film, but still, it's loaded with references, chock full of them. It's full of awesomeness, just full of awesome references and great little jokes, some dad jokes, puns, good wholesome family comedy. It was a really enjoyable film all around, not just for all the comedy, all the jokes, all the references, but also for great acting, voice acting, visual effects, animation in general. It was just all around a great family film. I highly suggest going to see it. But honestly, the biggest takeaway I'd have to say from this film had to be just thinking outside the box. You have to imagine the creators going into this film were like, okay, so we all know what the internet is, and it's chock full of cliches, chock full of millions of things that everyone else has done probably before, right? How can we build a narrative around this? If you want to know how to build a narrative around cliches, watch this film. It just nails them. It just nails originality to the wall. It doesn't just think outside the box, it breaks the box down and it rebuilds it. There's just a lot of takeaways from this film that any filmmaker, any artist of any sort can build off of, could grow off of. And personally, I feel like the biggest takeaway is just thinking outside the box, thinking big and thinking, how can I take the most cliched elements in the world that we know of in terms of internet culture and actually build a coherent, original, thoughtful, powerful, comedic, exciting, entertaining narrative around these. Personally, I feel like it's one of the best Disney films of this decade. That's just my opinion. That's just me throwing opinions out there, Again, I'm not trying to get critical of the film. But initially, I didn't know what I was going into this film to experience, in the sense that I wasn't sure whether it was just going to be a narrative built around internet culture, memes, music, streaming, social media platforms, likes, comments, all this stuff. And yes, it is built around these things, but these things work in conjunction with a greater narrative that cohesively brings them together. And that's what I really mean by thinking outside the box. The box in this context is your classic narrative structure that works around meta elements. If this is a meta film, this is one of the best meta films. The plot and narrative to this film integrate so well together and really drive home a lot of imaginative ideas, a lot of imaginative approaches to the world we experience each and every day in our society and our culture. The internet saturates our world, and the way that Wreck-It Ralph approached it is just so thoughtful, so imaginative. It's definitely fantasy, of course, but you can kind of relate and feel where these characters are coming from a realistic standpoint. It's not just a bunch of memes and film characters and aesthetics being thrown around. There's actually real heart and soul in this film. Again, the biggest takeaway from this film was thinking outside the box. The box being your traditional narrative element, and how can I integrate it with the meta elements all around it. This film breaks down that box. It brings all those meta elements in. It rebuilds the box. The box is, yeah. Okay, I'm kind of rambling at this point. Final points in this film, I thought it was very enjoyable. It had a lot of great acting, characters, plot. The plot was integrated very well with the narrative. It didn't have too much of a 360 kind of narrative arc to it. It was more of a point A to point B, but in a good way. In the sense that they started at this point, and then they kind of come back around to where they were, but it's different. So I guess in that sense, it is kind of a 360 narrative in a good way, in kind of a subtle way, which is good too. I feel like the best films can pull off the greatest narrative structures, the greatest plot elements, aesthetics of like 360 narrative, character arcs being fulfilled, so on and so forth, just so discreetly and naturally that you almost don't even notice it until you actually look back at it. That is the mark of a truly great film in my mind. But again, it's just my opinion. I'm just throwing it out there. Some people just enjoy films for the sake of entertainment, comedy, laughs, what have you. And if that's what you're going to films for, then I don't judge. That's a great reason to go to a theater, honestly. This film, perfect for that. But if you want to think outside the box, you want to think creatively, if you like films that really take common elements and remanifest them into something that is truly unique and exciting and fun to experience, then this film is for you. Ralph Breaks the Internet is a great film, and he really does break the internet. It just totally breaks down the most meta elements of film narrative and plot. The film is just incredibly unique in its meta design and its aesthetics. I'll just say this, I don't think I'll ever look at the comment section, tweets, likes, hearts, emojis in general the same ever again. But it's not in a scarring sense, it's just in a, wow, I never really thought of it that way kind of sense. It was a great family film. I highly suggest going to see it. I'm just going to leave it there. That just about wraps up this episode. If you liked it, then please hit the like button and hit the subscribe bell if you're interested in checking out more videos in the future. I just want to also say before I go that I plan to keep this channel not necessarily oriented around media and entertainment alone, but also I want to manifest an educational element out of it, in the sense that I don't want to approach these videos with the pure intention of just providing entertainment for people and my opinions and all this, and my opinions matter, listen to me. No, I'm just messing with you. But seriously, no. First and foremost, I want this platform to be all-inclusive to anyone and everyone that enjoys media and films and just wants to talk about experiences. But above all, I want it to be an educational platform, in the sense that I want you to be able to take something away from this. I don't want to just be that guy talking into a microphone with some soundproofing around it. I want to be that person who can actually bring some insightfulness into your lives when it comes to films, music, new experiences, and media. That just about sums it up right there. Honestly, through faith and grace, wisdom, growth, I think over time, more people will follow, and yeah, this channel will grow, it'll thrive, it'll become something great. At least it has the potential to be. With your help, of course, I can grow this into a much bigger entity. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, Again, my name is Nick, and until next time, peace.